So you are financially responsible. You're saving up, maxing out your tax-free and retirement savings accounts, and now have a small fortune staring you in the face. And you might be thinking, what should I buy with this? Based on my personal experience, I'll tell you what I believe are the best things you can buy with your money. What I'm going to tell you is going to be from my perspective. And just for some context, by the time I was 19 years old, I had moved 11 times and I had lived and studied in 4 different countries. My parents were always struggling and had poor job security. And frankly, I grew up poor. So everything I'm going to tell you in this video is going to be informed by these experiences, and it's going to be through my subjective lens. So with that out of the way, here we go. Number 1, security. Once you have 6 months of expenses saved up, you know that if you have an emergency, like a car breaking down or your landlord forcing you to move, you won't fall into a debt spiral. And you won't have to rely on credit cards to buy groceries if you're laid off, at least for a while. You will sleep better. And here's something that a lot of people don't talk about. If you find yourself laid off, guess what? You're probably not going to take the first job that comes your way. You're probably going to shop around for something that you really want. And you will feel more confident and at ease at interviews, which will actually increase your chances of getting hired. Number 2, detachment. The day-to-day irritants will bother you less. Scratch on your car? No worries. You got a nice jacket that got ripped? No biggie. Didn't get that job that you really wanted? Learn what you can and keep moving on. And with this point, I'm not saying that we should become perfectly unemotional and detached. What I am saying is that we can really focus our emotional energies on what really matters. Number 3, freedom to fail. This is a big one. Growing up, I never lived in a household that encouraged risk-taking. I was born in a developing country, and even though I didn't live there most of my life, I would go there to visit every few years. And boy, when I'd go back, I would see these horrific scenes of emaciated and starving people by the roadside. And I'm not exaggerating. You could see a lot of people malnourished and begging, and they were pretty much at death's door. And I was probably between 5 and 12 years old during this period, and it had a very profound impact on me. And when you see stuff like this as a kid, that fear will rewire your brain to be very risk averse. So I deferred my dreams, fearing that I'd be dying on the streets if I did not become a doctor or an engineer. But I always wanted to do something creative, like write or make movies, but that wasn't an option in my world. I also grew up at a time when digital cameras were just being introduced, so unlike the young millennials or Gen Z, I did not grow up with a camera. And it's only now in my late 30s that I'm starting to feel a little freer. Free to take small risks, try different things, and explore my interests. And I really wish I had this option earlier in my life, but better late than never, I suppose. Having money gives you the power to say yes. And next, number 4, integrity. At various points in your life, you will be presented with a choice. A choice to compromise on your values or to act by the beliefs you hold dear. It can be as serious as, like, maybe you have a government job and you are put in a position where you have to embezzle some funds or something. Or pay and receive bribes to get something done. Or maybe something you can relate to. Maybe you have a YouTube channel and you are approached to promote a product that you really don't believe in, but that offers you a lot of money. And maybe your boss asks you to do something unethical. Having money gives you the power to say no. If freedom to fail is the power to say yes, then integrity is the power to say no. True power is to never give anyone complete power over you. It is when you can act consistently in accordance with your own values. Next, number 5, education. Now, I'm not just talking about being able to graduate university without massive student loans, although that is a benefit. Of course, money can enable you to graduate without student loans, but a lot of expensive college degrees are pretty useless anyways, and that probably could be a topic for a whole nother video. A $100,000 price tag for a 4-year university degree should make anyone question the value of that degree Over the course of 40 years, let's say 25 years of age to 65 years of age, $100,000 invested in the S&P, passively, inflation adjusted, would be worth $1 million. I'm not saying that you shouldn't go to university, but rather that if you are going to spend six figures or more on any degree, then perhaps pick a degree that has a high employment rate. But I digress. What I'm really trying to tell you is that money can give you the time off you need to really study and improve yourself. It can also help your children with better educational outcomes. A kid from a low-income family might have to work part-time while going to school full-time, which may negatively impact his or her academic performance. Students from privileged backgrounds also have the resources to take unpaid internships, participate in extracurricular activities, and other activities that can build their resume and get them ready for work. Number 6, health. And when I talk about health, I'm talking about both preventative and curative measures. Almost 3 in 4 US adults are either overweight or obese. Just think about that for a second. Canada is not far off, with 2 in 3 adults being either overweight or obese. Now, I know how hard it can be to focus on one's health. After a long day of work, there's nothing really more tempting than to just come back home, pop in a microwave dinner, and just slump on the couch and just mindlessly watch a TV show to lift your spirits. Even simple activities like walking can have logistical hurdles. The place where you live may not be very walkable, or it may be unpleasant to walk in. For example, it may be located near a highway or near construction, or the weather simply might be inclement. Here in Canada, it is not possible to take a pleasant walk for about 4 to 5 months of the year. Focusing on your health takes time. Prepping healthy meals in advance takes time. Shopping for groceries takes time. Working out takes time. Working out can also leave you tired for the rest of the day. But we have to make time for the sake of our health. In conclusion, the common denominator here is time. Money buys us time, which is perhaps the most important thing of all. And what's really interesting is that a lot of the points I made in this video are really the byproducts of being on the journey to financial independence. And I was going to say that it doesn't really cost you anything, but it actually does. It takes decades of discipline and sacrifice, but ultimately, I think it is worth it to buy back your time. Alright guys, thanks for watching. This was a quickie just to test out my new camera and new lens, and stay tuned and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.